Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. This will be her downfall. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I know that many of you relish witnessing the downfall of this one's wife. I know there are many of you who continue to watch what she's doing, watch videos about her, read about her, not because you like her, not because you're interested in her per se, but you have become invested in watching the train wreck finally arrive at destination Fouquet. You want to see her fail. Your desire to see her fail is nothing to do with the colour of her skin, nothing to do with the fact that she's female, nothing to do with the fact that she married a prince, and is everything to do with the way that she has behaved. You want to see her gain her comeuppance because of the way that she has treated people. Her behaviour offends your sense of fair play, your moral outlook. It would afford a sense of justice for an individual who has behaved so despicably to end up consigned to obscurity, cast into oblivion, never to be heard of again. The good news is, her downfall is coming. Although she continues to act like an unflushable turd, seemingly bobbing along despite your best attempts to send her around the U-bend, her downfall will eventually come. How might it arrive? Well, this one's wife would have you think that there's a concerted effort to do her down by the royal family, that they sit there plotting, trying to smear her, leaking information about her. But actually, that's entirely wrong. And much as she would want the public to believe that there is the shadowy hand of the royal family attempting to do her down, their stance is simply ignore her. Don't bother about her, don't respond to her, don't talk about her. Certain aspects of the royal family, having been expertly advised, fully understand the most appropriate way to deal with her is to give her nothing. No reaction, no response, no time, no energy, no emotion. Thus, she cannot affect them. Accordingly, it isn't the royal family that are going to bring about her downfall. This one's wife would also like to think that it is a cabal of racists that are somehow seeking to cause her downfall. Once again, she's wrong. She utilises the playing of the race card as a means to assert control and nullify threats to control and to attempt to elicit sympathy. It's been used so many times, the print on the race card is now worn out, and people tire of it. They see straight through it. It isn't the case that she's a woman and that she's suffering from bouts of misogyny being directed towards her. Again, although she would like the public to think that that's what's actually going on, it isn't. The vehicle that is actually going to point towards her downfall is her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. Retirement homes. One key aspect of the behaviour of this one's wife, which is absolutely instrumental because of her narcissism, is her lack of accountability, her lack of substance, her lack of delivery. I've made it clear to you on a number of occasions that if the narcissist can achieve the prime aims by talking about it rather than doing, that's what will happen. The narcissism seeks out the most direct and path of least resistance with the lowest expenditure on time, effort, emotion, money, any other assets. Similarly, take for example your own position. You need a pint of milk. Would you stroll around the corner to the convenience store? Or would you drive to the airport, get on a plane, fly to another country, get a taxi at the other end, go to a supermarket there, purchase a pint of milk, and then do the journey in reverse? Naturally, you would do the former. You would go to the convenience store. Narcissism is exactly the same. If it can get it through an easy route, that's what it will do. With this one's wife, as a mid-range narcissist, this is particularly prevalent. What she does, and we've seen this time and time again since she's entered prominence as a consequence of joining the royal family, is that she does things without any substance. For instance, think about the allegations she made to state that there were racists within the royal family. She just threw those grenades in the Oprah Winfrey interview, didn't say who it was, leaving the finger of speculation to be pointed at all manner of different individuals, and ultimately it turned out that there was no evidence whatsoever of that having taken place. We saw the discrepancies between what Harry had to say as to when this supposed conversation took place and what she had to say about it demonstrated that they couldn't get their stories straight. But it didn't matter to her. She was able to assert control, draw fuel, smear, through just lobbing that out there without any actual evidence in support of it. Look at the deal with Netflix. Overall, it was for $100 million. Yes, we know they haven't actually received all of that money. But what have they got for it? Harry and This One's Wife, the docuseries, which did get a lot of views. After that, not a lot. The book hasn't been produced into anything. Pearl was cancelled. There was that Live to Lead thing, which barely anybody watched. What have they ended up with now? The prospect of a show about polo, an elitist sport that's actually not televised because it's so boring to watch. And, gosh, this is revolutionary, potential programmes about cooking and gardening. Once again, give me the money, but I'm not really going to deliver anything. Archetypes. Couldn't be bothered to interview most of the people involved. Only lasted one series. Couldn't deliver. No substance. Does a walkabout in Australia. I can't believe I'm not being paid for this. Again, she believes that she can get away with the minimum of input. She believes that she can just say things, do certain things whereby it's the minimum of effort. And time again, she's actually been able to get away with that. And thus that reinforces in her self-absorbed mind that, in actual fact, she doesn't really have to do much at all in order to get what she wants. And that's the prevailing mentality that This One's Wife carries with her. And it corrupts and bleeds and into and pollutes everything that she deals with. It shows in the way that she dresses. Through the distortion field, she thinks she looks great, but she invariably looks like she's just rolled out of bed. Goes off half-cocked. Her speeches. She thinks that they are absolutely scintillating and are full of meaningful insight. They're bore-fests that would send a glass eye to sleep. Why? Because she doesn't properly prepare. The fact is, she doesn't consider how she looks when she elbows her way into the middle of pictures which have nothing to do with her. Because it's all about seeking that control in the moment without any consideration for collateral consequences. And she did it again in relation to American Riviera Orchard. It's an absolute clusterfuck of a launch. It starts off with a landing page which tells you nothing other than it wants your email address. You see a video which shows This One's Wife in the background in a kitchen and then fucking about in a ball gown. What's the relevance of that? It's only as a consequence of other people's investigative work that people learned as to what she was potentially going to sell. You can't buy anything. You don't know anything about the product. You don't know what it's intending to do. You don't know specifically what's being sold. And yet it was launched some 3-4 weeks ago. Of course, she did so of her own hurried initiative in order to upstage the Prince of Wales during the Diana Legacy Awards. Thus, she looks to steal the thunder there. She gets the attention, of course, but with it comes the ridicule and the scratching of heads. What is it? American Riviera Orchard? Sounds like retirement homes. What a clumsy, stupid name. Gosh, look at that stupid symbol, the emblem that's used. It looks a real mess. Gosh, isn't it boring and beige? Criticism after criticism. Then, next stage, send some people some jars of strawberry jam. Wow, what a revolutionary concept. Again, half-cocked. And what's going to lead to her downfall is the fact that American Riviera Orchard is going to fail, and it will highlight her hubris, her stupidity, her emptiness, her lack of substance, her incompetence, her greed. And most of all, it will showcase how unpopular she is. It isn't the king saying she's a horrible person. It isn't the Prince of Wales saying she's an awful individual. It isn't the press telling everybody what a despicable human being she is. It isn't social media highlighting all of this. No, although she, of course, wants to portray the image of her being the victim of all of those individuals and more, and of those organisations and institutions having a go at her. The fact is, nobody else is going to cause American Riviera Orchard to fail but her. Because it's not being created properly. She's looking around for a CEO, having already launched the brand. People watch the jam giveaway and they're laughing. The most frequent comment, why is the jam being placed in a bowl of lemons? Surely you would put it in some strawberries at the very least. Not, oh, this is an exciting product, where can I get some? But rather, has she complied with various regulations? Look, the label's peeling off. Why are you numbering them? The person who's at number 50 is going to be a bit hacked off, aren't they, that they're not number 1? No excitement or buzz generated about the product, but criticism after criticism after criticism. But where is that criticism coming from? Is it an orchestrated campaign? Controlled by King Charles? Sat at Highgrove? Of course not. Has Prince William been issuing armies of bots to do her down in relation to American Riviera Orchard? No, he knows, ignore her. All of this has come about as a consequence of the way that she conducts herself and the way that she behaves. It's nothing to do with racism. It's nothing to do with misogyny. It's nothing to do with haters. It's all to do with her. Her greed, her emptiness, her ineptitude, her incompetence. This has driven her to create a lifestyle brand which has basically been launched in a haphazard, half-cooked, half-baked manner. And all that is happening is that people are reacting to what she has done, laughing at her and ridiculing her. And what it will highlight as this brand fails and falls flat on its face is just how unpopular she is. And that means that any potential partner, any potential sponsor, and they're not exactly beating a path to her door at the moment, will think, good God, good job we did decide to stay away from her. Thank goodness we didn't jump into bed, metaphorically at least, with her. The person that's going to cause her downfall is her. As I explain in my excellent video, Give the Narcissist Enough Rope, as a consequence of her desperation for control, her hunger for fuel, the pursuit of character traits and residual benefits. She has launched American Riviera Orchard, which is a mess. That will highlight her unpopularity. It means that organizations, institutions won't want to bother with her. The world will see just how useless she is. And ultimately, it's the last throw of the dice. Where will she go to after that? She's tried everything else. And the lifestyle brand has not only failed as an initiative, but it has highlighted just how unpopular she is. And there's only one person who has caused that. Her. She is going to be the individual that is responsible for her downfall. Naturally, she'll blame everything else. She'll blame the royal family. She'll blame you, the general public. She'll blame the Prime Minister. She'll blame the President. She'll blame the fact there was a recent eclipse. Anything but her. But for everybody else, they will be able to see that the failure of American Riviera Orchard brought into sharp focus all of the attributes that are unpleasant about her, which coalesce to form her unpopularity and thus bring about her downfall. Do you agree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.